All right, let's dive into one of the absolute biggest, most high-stakes challenges in banking today, the internal capital adequacy assessment process, or as we all know it, ICAAP. In the kind of regulatory climate we're in now, getting your ICAAP right, well, it's not just about ticking a compliance box anymore. It's really about strategic survival.
So I want to ask you something, and be honest with yourself. When you think about your bank's ICAAP right now, is it just another document? This huge file that gets pulled together once a year, gets filed away, and then pretty much forgotten? Or is it something more? The answer to that question, well, it tells you everything you need to know about how your bank really views risk.
Because here's the thing, the entire game has changed. Thinking of ICAAP as just a yearly chore is an old-school mindset. And frankly, it's a dangerous one. Regulators today see it as a binding supervisory contract. It's a formal promise, a declaration your bank is making about how it understands, how it measures, and how it manages its risks. And, just like any other contract, there are very real consequences if you break it.
And that, right there, is the new reality of ICAAP. This is not some back-office exercise that you can delegate down the chain of command anymore. No way. This is a massive challenge that demands ownership at the director level and has to be ready for a regulator's defense from the second you start building it.
This new reality hits everyone, professionals all across banking, risk, and capital management. And just look at the words on the screen: build, own, defend, approve. These are not passive, sit back and watch kind of words, right? These are words of authority, of leadership, and of serious accountability. The expectation isn't just to participate, it's to achieve total mastery.
So if ICAAP is now a supervisory contract, what happens when that contract is seen as weak or just not good enough? Well, the costs aren't some abstract thing you might have to deal with down the road. They are big and they hit you fast.
The most direct hit to your wallet comes from something called Pillar 2 capital add-ons. So what are they? It's actually pretty simple. If a regulator looks at your ICAAP app and thinks, nope, you haven't properly measured or managed your risks, they will force you to hold more capital. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's a direct blow to your balance sheet, tying up money that you could have been using for growth.
And these penalties? They don't just come out of nowhere. They are the direct result of very specific, very identifiable failures. We're talking about things like weak capital logic that doesn't really connect to your risk appetite. Or, operational risk models that just fall apart under a little bit of pressure. And of course, the big one, a clear lack of strong board-level governance. So, with all this pressure in this high-stakes environment, how do you and your institution make sure you're not just prepared, but actually in control? The answer isn't some quick fix or a simple checklist. It's a structured, deep-dive approach that's designed to build real mastery.
The path forward is through a 100-chapter regulator-grade learning program. Now that number alone, 100, that should tell you something right away about the level of detail we're talking about. This is not a high-level overview. It's a complete, end-to-end immersion designed to build an unshakable capability from the ground up. Now, 100 chapters sounds like a lot, but it's broken down into a really logical journey. You start by mastering the absolute essentials, the regulatory foundations, and defining your entire risk universe. From there, you get into the technical heart of it, building and challenging models for capital and, so importantly, for operational risk. Then you learn how to apply pressure with really robust scenario analysis and stress testing. And finally, you pull it all together with governance, documentation, and the final boss, defending your work.
And look, the whole point of this journey isn't just to fill your head with information. It's about turning that knowledge into real, concrete skills. It's about making that crucial shift from being someone who just participates in the ICAAP process to becoming a leader who truly owns it from start to finish. This slide just nails that shift in mindset. You go from being purely focused on compliance to having a true ownership mentality. You stop being reactive to what the regulators say, and instead you build something that is defensible from day one.
You're no longer just driven by the document. You become truly, deeply regulator-ready.
So what can you actually do after all this? That's the key question, right? Well, you'll be able to lead ICAAP submissions with real confidence. You'll have the technical chops to not just build, but to properly challenge operational risk capital models. You'll design stress test frameworks that can actually withstand scrutiny. You'll be ready to defend your ICAP under SREP. That's the supervisory review and evaluation process. And you'll be able to talk to your board and to regulators with genuine authority. And of course, the big prize, you'll have the blueprint to avoid those incredibly expensive Pillar 2 capital add-ons.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does this actually work? Let's take a quick look at how the program is structured and the different ways you can get started. So here are the key numbers. We're talking about those 100 comprehensive chapters. All in, that's about 45 to 50 hours of really focused, deep learning that covers the entire end-to-end ICAAP and operational risk lifecycle.
And you've got 3 powerful ways to engage with this material. For individuals who need flexibility, the self-paced option is perfect. You get lifetime access, and for every single one of those 100 chapters, you get an incredible toolkit, a detailed 10-minute video, a 30-minute podcast so you can learn on the go, a full slide deck, and extensive written notes. For teams that want more interaction, the cohort-based model gives you live, regulator-style walkthroughs where you can really pressure test what you know. And for entire institutions, the enterprise option allows for deep customization to solve your bank's unique challenges.
And so we're going to end right back where we started, but with a much sharper question. It isn't just about whether your ICAAP is a document or not. The real question is this: when the regulator calls, is your team truly ready to stand behind that supervisory contract and defend every single piece of it? Because your capital and your institution's reputation really do depend on that answer.